Hello, my name is Kaylee Schnack, and I'm here to complete EDL 856, Module 1, Various Communication Forms and Personal Video. Let's just get started with a little bit about myself. So I have been married for 6 years to my best friend, RJ. He works in the housing department at Fort Hays State as assistant director. I have a 13-month-old little boy, soon to be 14-month on January 1st. His name is Kingsley. He keeps me very busy. We also have an English bulldog named Holly, and Kingsley and Holly are best friends. Then I also enjoy spending time with family and friends. I love to travel. With the whole pandemic, I've been really itching to hop on a plane and go somewhere, but we have not done that in a while, so we've just kind of been hanging out around Kansas. And then I also enjoy watching and attending sporting events. Recently we went to Missouri and watched the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Dallas Cowboys, and we actually took Kingsley with us. He did really good. He actually took a nap at the Arrowhead, which was really surprising for us, but to each their own. And then I just have a picture of us at the stadium. Then we took Kingsley's 1-year-old photos, and he just looks so cute. And then here's a picture of Holly and Kingsley. This is when he was a little younger, but Holly and Kingsley are best friends. The other day, Kingsley thought it was funny to take Holly's bone, and Holly just would let him and then like chase him, and then she'd pull the bone away from him, and then he'd think it was funny and go get it back. It was the cutest thing. So that's a little bit about my family. We stay very busy. We try to give Kingsley as many experiences as we can. We go to the library a lot. We are going to go to the pool a lot this summer, hopefully. And then, the park. I'm just playing outside and doing lots of sensory reading and fun things like that. Also, I enjoy arts and crafts. We actually made gingerbread houses over Christmas break. My husband does not do arts and crafts, does not like getting sticky at all on his hands, but he did it for me and Kingsley, and out of all the gingerbread houses that we made, my 3 stood and his fell down. So we are also very competitive in my house. My husband and I have decided if the Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys go to Super Bowl, we will be watching it by ourselves and nobody else will be invited. So that's how it is. It's great. We're always busy and I love it. Some background about myself. So I attended Southeast Wesleyan High School, which is in Gypsum, Kansas, where all the earthquakes have been happening lately. Yep, that's where I'm from. It's kind of bizarre that's all happening. I got my bachelor's of arts in elementary education and a minor in leadership studies from Southwestern College down in Winfield, Kansas, which is like 45 minutes south of Wichita. I got a master's of science in high incident special education K-12 from Fort Hays State University, and I also have a master's of education in special ed education, early childhood unified birth to 3rd grade. So I'm specialized in special ed birth to 12th grade. And now I'm doing the certification for administrative leadership to be a principal. Professional background, so I'm in my 9th year of education, which is crazy to believe because I still feel like it's my first year, especially with COVID. I just feel like everything's crazy and anything can go and everything changes every day, so you just never know what's going to happen. I've done special education for 6 years, and I've been in elementary education for 3 years. I just needed a break from the SPED side, and so I switched to Gen Ed, which I love both of them. I think I love special ed more, but I just wanted to get a feel for actual Gen Ed since I only did it during student teaching for a semester. I currently teach in Russell, Kansas at Biggerdike Elementary. I live in Hays, so I commute, and I'm hoping to jump back over to Hays in the near future. And I'm the title teacher and the academic coach for this school. And I previously taught in Winfield, Kansas, Hays, Kansas, and Nevada, Iowa. It looks like Nevada, but it's Nevada. They will get mad at you if you say it wrong. And then here is a picture of myself and one of my best friends down in Winfield. We went to the Keene conference together. Here's my classroom and what it looked like. I actually didn't get to finish my first full year of third grade because COVID hit, but we did a room transformation. We were all chefs and we were working on fractions. And then, of course, a school picture. So forms of communication. What multiple forms of communication strategies for reaching a variety of stakeholder communities do you currently use? So face-to-face is my biggest. Email, phone calls, text messages, Google Hangouts, Remind, and just your common sticky notes. And I do that with staff, parents, and then community members. In the past, when I did remote work, I did Zoom, email, Google Meets, Google Classroom to communicate, and then, of course, phone calls if I needed to get a hold of parents. But most of the time, it's just face-to-face notes or emails to students. Family, we use phone calls, text messaging, Facebook messaging, Zoom, because we're kind of all over, and with COVID, you never know. Social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, I kind of do it all to keep in touch through all those platforms. And then graduate class, of course, we use Google Currents, email, Google Classroom, YouTube, Blackboard, Workday, all of those. If I had to prioritize, it would be face-to-face, then texting, email, social media, then the social media messaging. Actually, usually in the mail, I like to send letters and cards. I try to do that. I'm not the best at it, but I try to do that because everybody likes to get happy mail. Zoom, Google Classroom, Google Hangouts, Google Meets, Google Currents, YouTube, Screencast-O-Matic, and Canva. Which tools are provided to you, which ones are purchased by me. So provided is my school email. We did use the Remind app for last year, and it was paid. This year it's not. Bandwidth, which we're currently paying for, and then ThrillShare, which we get our district alerts through. Purchased, none of mine are actually purchased. They're all free, but it's email, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, text messaging, and a phone plan. That's paid for. I pay for it, but the Remind I use, and it's free, YouTube, Google, Currents, Screencast-O-Matic, Canva, Pontoons, I all use the free version, or it's paid through 4Hays. Any tools that I wish I could use would be Canva, just because there's so many opportunities to utilize it, like making flyers or pamphlets or just some like lesson plan things. I'd also like to use Pontoons. It's just the time limit piece. I tend to talk a lot, and then I also want the watermarks removed from my project. If I'm going to spend time on it, I want to have like full control of the project. So the question is, how does this information share impact with your introduction to professional life based on what we read in of the 3 articles we read? So after reading those, I definitely started reflecting, and then I realized I'm the person that totally goes to autopilot, and I just start uttering all these random things about myself because I don't know what else to say. And I think that's just how we're made, and we just need to actually think about it. So I just need to adjust my personal introduction and share what I do and how I do it effectively, and add a story or two. What methods might you use to introduce myself? I would probably start with my title and then where I'm stationed or what school I work at, and then I'd go into why I became a principal and why I do what I do, and then relate it back to my staff. Then I might share the story of, I got a 3 a.m. phone call, which turned into which turned out to be bats that wanted to attend the school, but the staff or the alarm company told me it was my staff trying to get in, but it was actually just bats flying around the school. That's actually happened at Bickerdike, so that's why I said it. And then just finding a way to make it more personal, effective, and lead with my emotions and relatable, and of course add some stories to gain interest. I mean, everybody's going to be interested in your school if you have flying bats at 3 a.m. I don't know why the bats come in, but they do. So we must be spooky over there. And then, do you follow a set of district strategic policies for communicating effectively? Why or why not? So as far as our district policy, it's really confusing because it changes year to year. It's really frustrating. our technology just changes year to year. Last year we used Remind and everybody was supposed to use it and they paid for it. This year they're not paying for it. Some people are using it, some people aren't. We do have Thrill but we're not trained in it. And our building leadership team has met on it, but we just haven't made a decision on what's the best, even though we're halfway through the school year. Overall, I would say that our top communicator is email, but there was nothing really stated on what we should be using. And then here's my correlation. I basically just said that it's important to have an introduction because you're trying to build a relationship between somebody, and it needs to be trustworthy, approachable, and positive, because you want that person to be able to interact and work with you. And having a stronger introduction instead of playing it safe is more meaningful, and limit the facts because nobody wants to remember all of the facts. They'd rather share your stories, like the bat story. And I just have to be able to be vulnerable, even though it's uncomfortable for everyone. And then being in a leadership position, I'm going to have to be strong in my introductions, because I'm going to want to change or want to do better at something, and I'm going to need other people to help me. And it just shows that the importance of the work that we do and why we do it. And then my relevancy, this assignment was relevant to current learning because I have a variety of individuals and staff that I'm going to be working with, and I need to be able to share my school culture and the goals with my staff, and so we know what we're working towards. And then how's this assignment improving my understanding? I realized that everybody kind of does that as far as autopilot, and that we need to have a better way of introducing ourselves and build that relationship. We're social creatures, and we need to have a foundation for those relationships to be built on. And it has to be meaningful, respectful, and be approachable with strong acts of trust and care. And it's important that we represent not only ourselves in face-to-face, but also on social media. And then personal reflection. This assignment had a huge impact on me as I tend to meet lots of new people and I like meeting new people, but I definitely go on autopilot, and I never really thought about it until I read those articles. And as a future leader, I need to be sharing information so that way people can remember who I am and know what I do and why I do it, because it does take a village, and I can help them and they can help me. We can both be problem solvers in our lives. And I need to make sure that I include either stories or be enthusiastic and communicate with emotions, and to use ideas to strengthen the stakeholder and the stakeholder and my relationship. And has this made me a better educator / future leader? I believe it has, because you want to start off on the right foot, especially when you're meeting people in a leadership position. And I'll be the first to admit that I am not wanting to be uncomfortable. So it'll take lots of practice. But I think we need to be proud of who we are and what we do, especially in this time of COVID pandemic, when people are realizing that teachers are leaving left and right, or we're trying to fill in a hole that can't be filled in because we are really good about what we do. So that's just something to point out and keep in the back of our minds, and that we believe what we do is important for all. So this is the end of my presentation, and here are my references. I look forward to working with you all this fast 3.5 weeks. Have a great day. Bye.